nga ay wedding month at syempre importante sa mga couples na nakakabuo sila ng solid na relationship sa isa't isa before marriage and of course during their marriage talaga. Kaya ngayong umaga mapalad tayo dahil meron tayong mga kasamang mga marriage counselors at yan si Emmanuel Manansala at si Liza Manansala. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yes. So maybe we could start off by explaining what marriage counseling is, because in the Philippines it's not really as popular as it is in the other countries. Like we see it in films and then maybe we just have a basic idea of what marriage counseling is, but maybe you could give us a background about marriage counseling.
Marriage counseling is preparation before marriage. You know, a lot of Filipinos, we don't believe in marriage counseling. We don't do this often, but we go to marriage and hindi tayo ready. Hindi ito tinuro ng elementary, hindi ito tinuro ng high school, college. So where we're gonna get the knowledge on going through a marriage? And we're gonna be spending a lifetime in marriage, and yet we don't have that basic knowledge.
So when we talk about the basic knowledge, what are the key factors that come in when the topic of marriage and the relationship is talked about?
Well, one of the most topics we talk about is the roles of a husband and wife, and what are the expectations of the husband and wife. Because people often, well, everyone enters marriage with a certain expectations, but they don't necessarily communicate that to their spouse. So in the premarital counseling, we talk about what are those expectations and what are those roles, so that you can really be ready when marriage
So
comes.
this is the before you get married. After the marriage happens, what are the things that you talk about with the couples?
Usually, when the couple approaches for counseling, may problema na. Typically, we can already see yung problema. For example, makikita mo sila, hindi sila magkatabi. So alam mo nang there's a communication problem. Sometimes ang problema is kalimitan. When the wife feels unloved and the husband feels disrespected. We call that crazy cycle. The crazy cycle of marriage, and it continues until ma-resolve yung issue nila.
Okay. So, kumbaga pag during when they get married, these are the usual problems that you see. But before naman they get married, what are the usual things that you encounter with the couples that you've handled? Do they have like misunderstandings about their roles or their responsibilities as a husband and as a wife?
Actually, the common problem is they don't know their roles.
Okay.
In our ministry, we talk about the roles of the husband and the roles of the wife. Basically, the roles of the husband is leader, lover, and provider. And sometimes nagkakapalit yan ng role sa kanyang asawa. At pagka nagkapalit, doon ang malaking problema.
All right.
And something else we talk about is what is God's design for marriage. Like we talk about how marriage is meant to be enjoyed and not just endured. Because too often we settle for just enduring marriage, but it's really meant to be enjoyed. So that's what we try to help couples do.
Yes. So how does it usually happen? Because entering marriage is a big thing in the life of a person. It's not like something that when you don't like it anymore, you can throw it away. So when people feel this way, how do you usually address this emotion that they have with regards to their marriage? Like how do you make them believe that it can still be saved or something like that?
Well, first of all, we tell people there's always hope, but you must be willing to work on yourself. Because usually when people, after marriage, when they enter counseling, it's because they think there's something wrong with their spouse.
Okay.
So they want to come and complain about their spouse. But we help people realize that we all have things we need to work on. So we need to work on ourselves, and also our they need to work on also. So both people need to work on something.
Right. Another thing I'd like to ask is sometimes in a relationship, you have a couple, but only one feels that there is a problem. So how do you usually see it that they address, they ask for your help as marriage counselors? Because sometimes the other partner doesn't really feel the need that they to go to a marriage counselor.
Yeah, actually, we also experience that instead of couple coming to us, isa lang doon sa lalapit sa amin para humingi ng advice. And so we tell them, improve yourself. Even if you think that yung asawa mo may problema, if you improve yourself and make yourself accountable to people, then it can be solved.
Okay. Yeah, and we encourage them, if your spouse sees you changing, they're going to be more motivated to change themselves.
Okay, so it's like leading by example in a way.
Yeah.
Another question I'd like to ask, you've been marriage counselors for how long?
Since 2007.
2007. With your experience, what are the unforgettable experiences that you had being marriage counselors? Like, how were you able to help like couples like from they were probably about on the brink of breaking up already or getting getting a divorce. What were the good experiences that you had with regards to this?
Yeah, the best experience I had was when two years ago, somebody approached me. She was 45 years old and she has stage 4 cancer. Okay. And she was considering to leave her husband already. And ang banggit ko sa kanya, try to, ano bang paboritong ulam ng husband mo? Pagluto mo. Tapos tumingin siya sa akin, hindi siya makapaniwala na yun ang suggestion ko sa kanya. Sabi niya, Pastor, I want to leave my husband already. Yan ang advice mo. And so what I told her, you know what? The reason why you cannot give love is because wala kang love sa puso mo. So what I suggested is maybe the perfect time or perfect way to you to do it is to feel that longing in your heart, and it can only be filled by God. So if you have a relationship with God, you will be settled with your husband first. So after that, after 2 months, they were okay.
How about for you, Lisa?
Yeah, I think a lot of couples come to us with problems, but we help them find what is the core problem. So, because sort of as Manny was saying, often the core problem is we want something from our spouse that they can't give us.
Yes.
So we're trying to like suck the life out of them, trying to get love or trying to get unconditional love or to. So if we can get down to the core problem of what your needs are and how those needs can be met, then usually you kind of see the light bulb go on in people's eyes and they get it. And then if they're willing to change, then there's always hope. The problem comes when people are not willing to change and not willing to work on it.
All right. Lastly, probably a lot of our audience are I'm sure we have a lot of couples that are watching also as early as now. And then we see you're a marriage counselors and you're also a couple. So they look at you as an ideal image for their relationships as well. So maybe you could give them a message and probably words of encouragement for them to build a strong and solid relationship.
Yeah, for those couple who are about to get married, my suggestion is put more preparation not in the wedding but in the marriage. So a lot of us do wedding preparations, spend a lot of time, a lot of money for the wedding preparation, but for the marriage preparation, very, very limited. And we do this for free, by the way. So if you want to go for counseling, you can approach us, and we do this for free.
Yeah. And we're very passionate about helping marriages improve because we're convinced that if you base it on the Bible and God's Word, then it works. It's gonna work for sure. So that's why we're very passionate about helping people because we know it's gonna help.
Alright. So yan mga boss, alam na natin kung ano nga yung talagang kailangan natin sa core ng ating mga relationships. At sana naman marami rin tayong tutunan at may apply din natin to sa ating mga sariling mga relationships. Kaya ngayong umaga yan, mapalad tayo at nakasama natin si Mr. Emmanuel Manansala at si Miss Liza Manansala, ang mga marriage counselors. Thank you for your time this morning. Thank you, of course, for the messages that you imparted with us here on Good Morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ayan mga